Mom. Dad. Juliet. Neve. Hello everybody and welcome back to Pancake Friday with Derek and Neve. I hope you like our new intro song.
I think you can tell that we've become parents and we watch way too much Bluey.
Yeah, that definitely was not that was copyright. No, that was just an original.
That was original.
That was an original. Yeah, so welcome back everyone. It's happy Friday to all. This is our 4th episode, you know that, right?
Wow.
That's 1 month of you having to listen to us talk, so thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome, we should say.
Okay, so I feel like we should start this week off about talking about your week, because I feel like you had some fun at the pool.
We did. We had so much fun. So I haven't taken Juliet swimming since before our trip to England.
Oh, what?
It's been that long. So it was really nice to take her to the pool, and it was so quiet. There was literally one other kid in the pool.
What time was it?
I think it was around 10.
Okay.
But it was Wednesday morning. And yeah, there were all the old people doing their aqua aerobics. And then just me and Juliet in the shallow end.
This is, just so everyone knows, this is Karen Magnuson in the wave pool.
Yeah.
Where the waves on, while the old people were there.
Can you imagine just these old people flying up? They were the type of old that, like, they got out the pool and needed to get it in their walker before, so...
Is it bad of me to say I'd love to see the waves turned on to max?
Oh, it'd be hilarious.
They'd be like, Carl, this reminds me of the Titanic. The last survivor of the Titanic.
Just having PTSD.
Or no, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. Jack.
Never let go,
Jack, never let go. I told him to let go.
I'm pretty sure the last survivor of the Titanic's dead.
Huh.
A moment of silence for that person. Anyway.
back to reality here.
Yeah, so now Juliet's more mobile. She can actually, like, crawl around in the shallow end. And she's also discovered that when you're in the water, you can, like, bounce. And, bouncing is, like, her favorite thing ever.
So when you say that, like, is it like she's... By the way, I'm going tomorrow, so I'll get to see this.
Yeah.
But is it like she's, like, able to go in the deep and bounce, or are you just holding her and she bounces in the water?
So, no, it was, like, up to her kind of shoulders. And I was sat down holding her, and she was just going nuts bouncing.
That'll be so fun tomorrow.
And then we were in the, like, little kiddie pool, and she was crawling around and splashing, and it was really fun.
Nice. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, and how, outside of school, how was the week? Did you guys get up to much?
She's been a little grumpy goose this week.
Yeah.
But I think that's teething and just, like, learning new skills. I think she's going through a growth spurt because she's eating so much.
Yeah, she's a big old baby now.
She's a big old baby.
Yeah, and it's crazy when they don't poop very much and eat a ton. They're growing, like, quite quickly.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, so my week, I'm just trying to think what happened with my week. The only real news is my ankle is, we still can't fully assess it because it's still swollen, but the chiro seemed to think that it was impressive that I could still walk and do a lot of stuff, so that's good signs.
Yeah.
Which is now going to lead us into something I found really interesting this week. I was listening about this on a podcast, and I just wanted to bring it up. Do you know what a dead language is?
Yeah, like ancient Ramaic or...
Yes, correct. But do you know what constitutes a dead language? Like, how you would define it outside of saying, like, oh, well, Latin's a dead language.
Is it something that people don't use anymore to communicate in, like, a area basis?
Yeah, that's pretty damn close, actually. Yeah, that's really good. I'm surprised. I had no clue. So it's basically what it is, or not basically, literally, it's so, like, for example, Latin is a language that's still spoken. You can meet people that have studied and can speak. I don't want to say fluent, but they grasp the language and can speak it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But for a language to be considered alive, it has to be used amongst the people to converse. And what makes the languages alive is actually the slang of the language. So a dead language is a language that can't change anymore because people don't speak it to keep it alive. And I just thought that was super interesting because to me, I always just thought of it like you said. You're like, oh, like ancient Aramaic is a dead language. Okay, it makes sense, but it always just, I assumed it being like, the people are gone, that kind of thing, but it can still be something that people are speaking. It's just there's no way to like evolve the language.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty freaking interesting.
Do you speak any dead languages?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Unless.
Did they not teach you Latin in Catholic school?
Well, actually, funny enough, I actually think if you threw Latin in front of me, I would have a better chance at speaking it or understanding the language than most because all of anatomy is in Latin terms.
Right.
Every single thing, like latissimus dorsi is Latin and triceps surae, all of that. And then a lot of muscles and joints and all anatomy is descriptor words of things. So coracobrachialis is from your coracoid process along your brachial up into your thumb here, and that's all described just from what I said there. So it's a whole bunch of, and then so no, I'm not going to say I speak any dead languages, but by technicality I do read Latin medical stuff.
Yeah.
And but that's all medicine is still like that.
Fun fact.
Do you?
I can understand and write. I can figure out and basically understand / write in hieroglyphs. Did you know this? You did know this. When I took you to the Egypt desert and I read the hieroglyphs to you.
Yeah, you did read them. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit janky.
I mean, yeah, it's janky. But the thing with hieroglyphs are there's multiple interpretations of like a single hieroglyph. So, for example, if there's a snake could be a J, but it could also be like a descriptor word with a J, or it could be a snake. Like,
why a J?
Because that's just what the hieroglyph is. It's a J. Like a hand is a D. A squiggly line is an N, because N, like the Nile.
Yeah.
A hand for some reason is a D, or it could be like a duh or a ja. So it's like there's multiple interpretations of hieroglyphs.
This is what my problem with all ancient history, which is my favorite thing. But my biggest problem with it is literally right there within what you said lies the proof as to why history is so you can't truly trust our history. I don't want to step on this people smarter than me, but you don't know what you're talking about, because I'm sure if I sat down with really smart people, they could explain a lot of their reasoning. It's just like, how do you fully really know when you're dealing with stuff that old? And again, going back to the whole idea of a dead language. Okay, so the thing that this person said was really interesting. They were talking about when you're dealing with language, because this whole thing, this guy was a classicist and he was talking about ancient Greek. Right. So he was a language guy, right? Yeah. And what he was saying is you have to put yourself in the time of the place and how the like culture was and how the vibes of everyone was, because if you don't do that and you're just reading words, they don't always make sense. So the difference between what was it? Butt dial and booty call. Everyone knows the difference between the two, but take 150 years of culture out of that, and all of a sudden the difference between butt dial and booty call is one and the same. to someone that doesn't know.
Oh, 100%.
And so, and it was just interesting. And he, though, being this linguist guy or this classicist, very specific. They all seem, I've listened to 2 different classicists now. They seem to be very specifically, they're classicists, which is like, I only study ancient Greek language.
Yeah.
But yeah, this dude's like talking about all this stuff and saying it, and I'm just like sitting there being like, yeah, like I just feel like everything you're so sure of, you're also writing off other classicists that you disagree with. So it's like this weird thing. I'm like, I don't know. It was really interesting. I'd highly recommend. I don't know if you like ancient stuff, look into classicists and what they have to say. It's super interesting.
Okay, that's super, because like that I love Egypt and everything Egypt and all of that. I'm actually super jealous because my parents are going to Egypt in December.
Shout out to Sim. Shout out to Julie.
But my parents took me to Egypt when I was 14. Yeah, 14. 14 or 15. I don't know, one of the two. And I fell in love with it. And then when we were in Egypt, is when I picked up some books on hieroglyphs, and when I started kind of like that journey into like learning to decipher hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
And everything like that. And it's so interesting because the reason I got so into it is because you go to these the temples in Egypt, and there's like a million temples in Egypt. There's so many. My favorite is Dendra, just for which is the temple of, I think it's the temple of Hathor, Dendra, but it's stunning. It's beautiful. It has like these turquoise ceilings.
Oh, I've seen
pictures of it.
It's like a way different than a lot of the other temples in terms of like it's super well preserved, right?
It's incredibly preserved, and what's really interesting is they have 2 versions of the calendar. They have like the old, like the ancient calendar, but then they also have like a kind of more modernized calendar. So there would have been like an interchange in how they viewed like the moons and the years at that point, which is really cool.
That's super crazy.
All of the temples there, the walls are just covered in hieroglyphs, and all of the hieroglyphs are the history of the temple and the stories that go along with it. So obviously these are guided tours that you have in Egypt, and they're like telling you about the stories, and then as you kind of like figure out what hieroglyphs mean, you can kind of see in the images the stories come to life. There's this one it's my favorite ancient Egyptian story is the story of Isis and Osiris. It's really interesting. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. Okay, so basically, Isis, it's a super long-winded thing, but Isis and Osiris are brother and sister / husband and wife, because they loved incest in the olden days.
Honestly, there's nothing wrong with some incest. Wait, no.
But
I'm gonna take that back. I take that back. I don't want to be on record saying that.
Yeah. Get back off that list.
I take that one back. That was a bad one. I'd edit it out, but I'm not at that stage in editing yet.
But yeah, so they were brother and sister, husband and wife, very in love. Their brother Seth, who was married to not Nefertiti. Nefertiti was a queen.
Nephron?
Nef something. Can't remember the whole name.
Okay.
But Seth and Nef were married. They were also brother and sister. But Osiris was like the king. And Seth got super jealous. Decided he was gonna trap Osiris, kill him, and then what he did was he killed him, and he cut his body up and scattered it around Egypt. And then Isis, basically, long short of it, she found all of the pieces, but she couldn't find his weenus. She couldn't find his penis weenus.
No.
Yeah.
What's the point in even finding him?
So she couldn't like fully restore him. But then they found his penis in the belly of a crocodile in the Nile, brought him back to life. She banged him, and then he died again, and that's how she created her son Horus, which is where you get Horus, the Eye of Horus. And then Horus eventually goes on to fight Seth in his father's name. And
I'm just still caught up in this idea of, do you want to be brought back if you have no dick?
well, no, they found his dick in the end. That's how they
But
that's
I
how
know,
they got the son.
I get that, but I'm just saying, like,
But
if that didn't happen,
Yeah.
is it worth coming back to life and being the king of the world? No.
Well, literally,
Not at
that's
all.
the funny thing. In the story, he was literally brought back to life just to fuck and then...
Okay,
died
so
again.
I have this every time we watch Game of Thrones. I always think if I was in
House of Dragon?
House of Dragon, anything Game of Thrones, like really anything medieval, I always would not want to be the king. I want to be the prince that's like not the king. That's like, it's not my royal thing, but I'm the brother of.
Yeah.
And then I would just be in my bedchambers sleeping until I got syphilis and died with
Yeah,
women.
hell yeah.
Like, I'd just be an orgy.
Yeah,
tent.
you'd want to be the, like, second-born son.
Yeah, and then you just get all the perks and the
Oh, hell
sex
yeah.
and the, I guess, ancient drugs and booze, and they're like
Opium?
all of it,
Oh,
and
dude,
it's
if
all,
I
and
was
it's all
in-
chill because you're not the king, and then if you become the king, you're probably already have syphilis, so you're just crazy and don't care.
If I were in medieval times, I'd be, like, at them opium dens, like, getting in with the kings and stuff, so you could get, like... the treats and whatever. Like, I'm not gonna be some kind of farmer's wife. Like, no, I'm gonna be like top tier hooker that gets all of the perks.
We had like all the good like orgies because like the Greeks and the Romans had hardcore orgies, and we all like, that's the one thing that I always find hard with history. If they negate the fact that all these oracles and stuff, if you're not willing to believe that drugs were prevalent in the past, then I think you're just being naive to history.
Yeah.
Because people would eat and drink shit and literally not know and then trip out. And there's like, this isn't like, oh, Derek read one thing online. This is like, there's been like full on, they've done taken samples from pots that have all these like different things, and they found drugs in them and stuff. Okay, I just want to say something controversial here, just because I feel like while we're on the topic of Egypt,
Trigger warning.
while we're on the topic of Egypt, I am just thoroughly not convinced that the pyramids are what they're perceived to be for. I'm not going down this whole aliens built them path anymore. But I will just say this. What was the name of that tomb you entered? You loved it, your favorite place?
Oh, Dendra? Dendra's a temple.
A temple, okay. So if you enter any tomb of any great king, pharaoh, what's a pharaoh? Is that what they call a pharaoh that's a chick, or is it just pharaoh still?
It's just pharaohs.
Okay, so regardless of gender, if you enter their resting tomb, it's one of the most beautiful things you've ever seen.
Oh, stunning, yeah.
There's artwork everywhere talking about their passage into the afterlife. There's dozens upon dozens of mummified cats, and they're still living servants that have clearly had to live in a tomb in the dark and died.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And then you enter the Great Pyramids, and outside of a black box that is very oddly placed in the middle of a giant chamber, there's literally nothing inside any of the Great Pyramids. Nothing. Not a carving, not a...
That we know of.
Well, yeah. And okay, but... Sure, if there's a hidden chamber or something, sure. But like, as of what we know, there is not one thing that resembles any of the burial chambers of the kings. That's very true, and you can look this up. Go look, like, you just go look, and to me, that screams that whatever the pyramids are for is 100% not a burial chamber that took dynasties to build. It makes no sense at all. And I have theories. I have theories for it, but I don't want to get into it now because it's a whole different pod. But like, I just want to say that.
Yeah, I mean, like, ancient Egypt is just one of the most fascinating things I think on the planet, in my opinion. Like, it's so incredible. Do you know, if ancient Egypt, I mean, no, this is a very broad statement. Ancient Egypt was where the cesarean was invented, which is how I gave birth. So, who would have known how I would have given birth
if it wasn't
for ancient Egypt?
You might not even have a baby.
Fun fact: do you know why it's called a cesarean?
Because Caesar did it.
Because the first cesarean ever recorded was Cleopatra had a cesarean and it was Caesar's baby, which is why it's called a cesarean. And also Cleopatra wasn't Egyptian. She was Greek.
Nice.
More fun facts.
Nice.
Fun facts. Egypt fun facts with Neve.
Yeah, I love Egypt. I think we should just do a pod one day on Egypt because it's all that stuff's so crazy.
I'd be so down for it. We have like some Egypt memorabilia in our place as well, directly from Egypt that I can see Derek checking out now. I have some canopic jars directly from Egypt, and I have a couple of papyrus.
You know who I'm learning a lot about now?
Who?
So this all started because I wanted to know more about China. So I started listening to this book about the Silk Road. And it's gone heavy into Persia. Persia's fucking nuts. And I'm going to start looking more into... Like, Persia was such a cool culture. Like, such a cool culture. Everything. They have so many things that I think that people, like, genuinely, like the people that are like very like left-leaning liberal in today, like in Canada or North America or whatever, I think they would be shocked to see how crazy the Persian Empire was in terms of like their ideology versus the liberal ideology. A lot of stuff. It's super crazy.
Really?
Oh yeah. And then like just I don't know. I think I've always thought of the Middle Eastern people as more poets, to be honest with you. Like I've always thought them as like vagabond, like they were like cradle of civilization, so it was a lot older times, but I know there's a lot of like really interesting art and poetry that comes out, especially randomly. If you talk to Persian people very quickly, you get a sense that a lot of them like read a lot of poetry and stuff, which I always thought was so weird. I was like, wait, you know poetry? So it's a thing, but anyhow, their civilizations. I actually am planning to do a pod on it because it's so interesting. And then like places like in Iraq, Baghdad, since like basically the beginning of history, has been this stronghold that's never been taken by anyone. And then if you look at the city, you're like, oh yeah, it looks like a giant fortress that's never been taken before.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to look into that.
The Middle East is super interesting.
Do you know that Eminem song, Bagpipes in Baghdad?
No.
It's a great song.
Okay, so we spoke, that's one thing. That was good. Okay, here's a crazy thing. So they did a study on the most dangerous substances in the world. Okay. And there's all these factors in it, and the big two, like there was like a ton. They're not just like factors that are just baseline. They were like very scientific ones.
Yeah.
But it came down to the biggest factors were, can you die when you take it, and then can you die when you use it? And what that means is, when you take it, can you overdose on it? And then when you're using it, does it cause you to do things that could cause harm to yourself?
Right.
Okay. And so, literally, on the Great Pyramids of Egypt alone, next to all of the man-made structures around it, number one, do you want to guess what it was?
Is it like a substance?
Anything you would consider like altering. So even like caffeine, cigarette, or tobacco, like everything, anything that you basically ingest that alters your thing, that's not like food and water. Substances, I guess you could say.
No, I can't.
No guess?
I don't know. I'm gonna go with asbestos.
Okay, no, that wouldn't count.
No.
Because
Okay.
that would be number one.
Okay.
if you're ingesting asbestos, I think you're pretty much dead.
Oh, wait. Mercury.
Still wouldn't be on it because again, that would for sure.
All right, I don't know the criteria.
Yeah, no, it's
so
I know I get
it.
It's alcohol.
Oh yeah.
But like I like the thing that the guy was trying to stress is not like alcohol, heroin, fentanyl, blah blah blah. It's just alcohol. It's like basically you're like alcohol, and then you're like, where are all the other ones? And they're like, let's just zoom out. Oh, there's heroin. And then the guy was saying, he's like, by the way, that's heroin. So it's not like heroin's not a super dangerous substance, right? And so like it's crazy to me, like how, and again, I'm sitting here with Neve drinking bottle 1 of 2 of our wine that we're gonna drink. So I'm not like sitting here as some dude that's like, don't drink it so bad, I blah blah blah. I'm just like, you should be aware of this stuff because it is that dangerous. And I was just, every time I just can't get over how bad people think drugs are, and then comparatively and then they're getting hammered, and it's like, I'm not condoning like, oh well, you should just go out and do a whole bunch of MDMA or cocaine or mushrooms or something because it's not as bad as, I'm not saying that. It's just like people go to the bar and order 8 beers and the bartender has to cut them off, but most bartenders don't unless the person's belligerent, because like it's just like, why would you? The guy's just having a good time or the girl's just having a good time, as opposed to how absurd would it be if I just was like, yo, I need some cocaine and or any other heroin, weed, whatever, and you're just at the bar and it's served to you with dinner. Like, it's just such a crazy how alcohol's gone to that level.
Yeah, it is. Do you know what's really funny? We've talked about this, but I noticed it as well when I was back in England. The drinking culture in England is insane, because sometimes I'm not saying like that I drink a ton, but anybody who knows me knows that I like a drink.
Yeah.
You know, like
absolutely.
I'm not like a bad drunk by any means. Like I like to get a buzz on. I'm very kind of coherent when I drink and everything like that. But I like to have a couple drinks. And I got to a point, especially since moving to Canada, because the drinking culture isn't as big here, where I was like, do I drink too much? Is this like an issue or something, you know? Because like I like a glass of wine in the evenings, or like a couple glasses of wine in the evening just to wind down. And then my parents came here, and we always drink a lot when my parents are here, because my parents are ex-Navy, so they like a drink as well. Yeah. And then I went back to England and it was the same. It was like, not that I was like getting wasted every night, but like every night I'd have a beer or two, or like a cider or two, or like I'd go out with my friends and we'd split a bottle of wine. And the drinking culture in England is crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
I the one thing I noticed is like it's, so let's say it's like, oh, we're all gonna go out for a night on the town. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say, oh, Canadians drink as much, because I don't know if like everyone's out on the piss who's drinking more, but everyone's getting hammered. Let's just say that, irregardless, like everyone's drinking a lot, right? Fair to say.
Yes.
But the thing is, at least in when I say like the way I roll with my friends and all the people I'm around, is more like, we're gonna go out and party, so we'll start drinking. Yeah. Whereas I feel like in England, people are like, oh yeah, it's lunch, I'm just gonna grab a beer with lunch on my lunch break, and then I'll have a cheeky pint after work, and then you get home and you've had or you go to the bar, you've had a pint, and then you come home and you crack another one, and all of a sudden you've had 2 pints and a beer. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, like 5 o'clock.
But yeah.
But I would never, like, people, or I shouldn't say people, but at least from the way I have been, no one really would do that.
Yeah, it's really like normal in England, because as well, like, pubs there are such a social thing that, and like pubs here are the same, it's very social, but like if especially where I grew up in the country, if you go down to your pub, you probably know majority of the people in there. So you're going to be traveling around, talking to a load of people, having drinks with different people, but also, like, it's weirdly family time, because your kids can go to the pub. There's normally a park at the pub that your kids are, like, going outside and playing with the other kids in the town while you're inside having your beers, having your wines, and you all walk home at the end of the night because it's, like, such a small place and there's no mountains to climb up.
Yeah.
So it's like you go to the pub with your kids, and then all the kids play, you have beers with your friends, and then you all go home together. It's a very, like, familial community thing.
Yeah, that's I think that that this is going to be a poll question for today. Do you think that there is community in Vancouver? I will say I think that this like, it's weird because I think we have a really good community, like, especially our like soccer community. Like, my soccer team is like a good, like, it's my soccer team, but there's all the girlfriends come out, we all hang out, like, we all like genuinely get along and like each other. It's not like we're just showing up there like, you know, good soccer game later. We actually like our crew. So in that sense, we're very fortunate to have a community. But even then, I feel like it's a flash in a pan. Like, you talk to most people around our soccer team that aren't on it, and they come and see, and they're always like, wait, what? This is what your soccer team's like? And we're all like, yeah, it's all our homies. And then they're like, oh, my soccer team, we just, like, show up, play soccer, and leave. Like, it's not normal, right? And I think that's a big sign of, like, the area, as opposed to us being like, well, we're in a community. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't mean there's communities.
Well, I think there are really good communities in Vancouver, but they're very based off you growing up here. Do you know what I mean? Like, all of the people on your soccer team, even if you didn't go to high school with them, they all grew up here. So there is that kind of, like, familiarity and that kind of community. But I definitely understand that as an immigrant, it's so funny you saying I'm an immigrant.
You're an immigrant.
I am.
I know, right? Yeah.
But as an immigrant coming here, it's very isolating. It's like, because people have their communities and they're very content with their communities, and they don't necessarily want they don't care for other. I don't think it's like we don't want you here, but they're just like, they're happy with how it is, and they're not willing to kind of, like, embrace change into, like, adding new people into it.
Yeah.
Especially the females, I found, are kind of hostile. But that's just, like, a personal thing. I'm sure a lot of people that have immigrated here will kind of understand when I say that.
You're not the first to say it,
and I won't be the last.
I mean, the females here are very hostile. I've literally never ever dated a girl from Vancouver, and ever
really
never. I've obviously, like, hooked up with girls, but never, like, actually had any form of a relationship, because I don't know what it is. I don't want to. Maybe it's me, but it's just literally I never ever even came close to dating a girl that lived from Vancouver.
It is. It
must be something.
It's a culture thing, though. It's a culture thing. People are very, like, content. And what I find so strange about here is you're all friends with people that you went to high school with.
Yeah.
I don't have. Actually, no, that's a lie. I maybe have one or two people that I went to high school with that I'm still in contact with, let alone am as close.
I don't know if that's to a degree. I think I guess that's a North Van thing, because, like, all the homeboys, like, all the guys, just like Jack and Alex and all them are high school friends, aren't they? Yeah, I guess that's a thing.
Yeah.
I think North Van is just a weird place in terms of, it was right next to Vancouver, which you, like, air quotes, was the big city. But when I say the big city, it's more just because Canada's so tiny, and then it's the biggest western province or a city.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you have LA and New York, and you have Toronto and
Vancouver.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you what I really enjoy about North Van is that as much as it is very much like its own community, it's still big enough to kind of be perceived as a big city. For me, coming from like a tiny farming town in England, it's like I get enough of that feel of home where it is its own community and you know people there. But also, like, if there's someone that I want to avoid, I'm not gonna just bump into them in the store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's enough of big city and enough of small town. It's a good mix.
Well, that's what I think North End is it's you're 15 minutes away. Like, even now, the world's changed a lot in the sense of like before it used to be like, oh, the big city, and you're in North Van, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to Vancouver because you go to all the big shops in the like big downtown. What?
Yeah. No, I'm just like all the big shops.
Like, you know, yeah, no, it was though. Like, if you wanted to get the
know.
nice clothes, you had to go down to Robson or
Pacific Center
or Metrotown was actually always the best, but like you had to like go to this space to go get it. Whereas now you can, like, for example, my On Cloud shoes, I literally just went and I felt so bad. The woman that was doing this was like she was like trying to assess my walking gait, and she's like, so you run, how do you run? And I was just like, look, these are just literally for work. I stand and massage people. I just need like good shoes. They don't have to be like perfect for my run, blah, blah, blah. She's doing all this shit. I'm not going to lie to you. I tried on 9 pairs of shoes, and the first ones, when I saw them, I was like, I want those. I just want to make sure the size is right. So she brings them out, 9.5, put them on. I'm like, yeah, okay. She's like, so do you like these ones? And I went, yeah, I think they're pretty good. Like, but really I was just going to go home and buy them in the color I wanted because they just had all black. And then because of that, like, timidness and trying to be nice, I was like 8 pairs of shoes later. And I was like, she's like, so which ones do you want? And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to continue my search. And I just continued my search up the hill on the website.
I feel so bad for retail employees because, like what's your purpose?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
know.
Like, everyone orders shit online. Like, I kind of go browse the stores to see the kind of, like, style that I'm after. And then I order it off some, like, cheap-ass Chinese website, like Shein or Temu.
I just like to see, like, if, like, shoes, I do like to try them on, because a pair of shoes can look amazing, and then also just suck, or, like, or suck on your foot. But, yeah, it's, I don't know. I felt bad for that woman. I can't remember there was a reason I was going to talk about those shoes, but I kind of lost my train of thought there.
It's okay,
Let's just move on.
But... Oh, okay. We can move on. I was just going to say, like, on the retail side of things, like, it's so funny because especially the stores you guys have here are so fucking expensive. Like, if I go to Aritzia, I buy, like, 3 things and I spend, like, $500.
I'm pretty sure that's just every store.
No, because I needed to get a new summer wardrobe because... I've had a baby this year. I've had a baby in the past 12 months.
You?
Like, I'm not the size that so all of my clothes are either pre-baby size or maternity size for the summer. And I don't fit in either of them anymore. I'm like at a in-between level. So I was like, none of my clothes fit me. I need a new summer wardrobe. Spent, I think, like $300 at Shein. And I got so much shit. Like a whole new summer wardrobe, and it's so freaking cheap. Whereas if I were to go to like a retail store,
I don't get designer, to be honest with you.
No.
I like my Nike brand and stuff like that, but I guess like technically that's name brand, of course, but like it's like just like some like joggers or whatever, they're like $60 to $100 kind of thing, depending what you get. Whereas like I don't get it when someone's like, yo, did you see this new, like, George Flebley? And you're like, George Flebley? And they're like, yeah, look at that. And it's a guy in a white shirt with a black leather jacket, and it says, like, JF on it, or GF, and I'm like, okay. And they're like, that's a, like, $3,500 outfit. And I'm just sitting there being like,
Uh-oh. Pause.
1 sec, we'll be right back. And we are back. Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
hello.
Sorry about that. There was a technical difficulty with the mics.
There was a crying baby.
Yeah. Don't know if you could hear that. So I can't remember where we were. Do you?
No idea.
I just remember I was talking about how I don't get designer clothes and all the jackets and stuff, but I just want to move on from that because it's just not. I'm not really interested in talking about clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, so here I have a bone to pick.
Pick it.
All right. So Wendys has a new the fast food chain Wendys has a new chicken strip out. Have you seen this?
I have not seen this.
Well, they're normal strips, but they put barbecue sauce or hot sauce all over them. So they're just doused in them. Okay? Now, here's my issue with...
Is this what you got the other night?
Yeah, I got this the other night. So okay, first off, it's good. So I'd recommend it if you like barbecue sauce or like chicken nuggets and hot wings. Like it's good. If it's good. But the thing that just bothers me about it is it's marketed. Like if you see commercials, they're like Wendy's new honey. I think they're like sweet barbecue chicken strips or their hot buffalo barbecue strips, and it makes it seem like it's this crazy thing. I'm like, you guys literally are just squirting, like, yeah, even when you see it, you're like, you just literally took your barbecue sauce. We're like let's not advertise this as some crazy new invention here. So I just wanted to say that bothered me a lot.
On the subject of coating stuff in sauce, I actually now I've deleted all social media. I've been looking, so I have this app called Tasty. Okay. Which is recipes and stuff, and it's a really good app because if you have stuff in your fridge, you can type in the ingredients and it comes up with recipes that have those ingredients.
Oh, it's cool.
Awesome.
We should plug that. What's it called?
Tasty.
Today's unofficial sponsor of the podcast, Tasties. If you have shit in your fridge you don't know how to cook, plug it in Tasties and it'll taste great.
I don't think we can use that slogan. It's a whole different
It's
thing.
all unofficial. It's okay.
Totally don't sue us. But yeah, but now they have kind of like videos and stuff of like tips for when you're cooking.
Okay.
And one of the videos that I was watching, one of the tips was if you have like crispy chicken, instead of tossing your chicken in the sauce, because that kind of can make it mushy, like paint it on with like a pastry brush.
That'll make it not mushy?
Not as mushy, yeah.
Interesting, because I'm not going to lie to you. Like that's the one thing I've always felt with it is you do not have doused in sauce and crispy unless it's like they doused in sauce, gave it to you right then. Like it has to be instant.
Yeah, if you like paint it on, it like evens it out, gets it all in the like crispy crevices.
Okay, well, so here's my only question. Does anyone like who owns is it a basting brush?
It's
or do you go to Michael's to get the paintbrush?
No. I've owned them before. They're like you can get these like silicone brushes.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering how many. Like we have them because of the barbecuing I've used. So I'm just wondering, is that a normal thing for people?
Oh, we have them. I didn't know we had them because if we now. Oh well, if we'd had them, I would have used them so many times. I just didn't.
I use one of them to put barbecue sauce on my toes.
Let me lick it off.
All right.
Sorry, there's been too much wine involved tonight.
We haven't drank wine in months. What are you talking about?
But yeah, like just brush it on there. I think the silicone brushes are better than like you can use just like a regular brush.
But the silicone are better. They have the space between it, and they're also easier to clean.
And they also don't shed hair too.
Yeah, but yeah, it was really weird because what was I coming back from? I just
the Wendys.
Yeah. So we we did a podcast with someone and it went late, so I just stopped in at Wendys. And then this is even the most whack thing of me saying all this stuff about the lazy marketing and all that garbage is I got busted because I always get the number 6 spicy chicken combo. Period. Mm-hmm. That's the number one thing. That's like, that's actually going to be the question for leave a comment on what do you get at Wendy's. For me, it's just spicy chicken easy. I'm not going to lie. I eat their whole menu, so I just want to know what's your classic. For me, it's number 6 spicy chicken every fucking time. Well, that's a threat. That's a threat.
Aggressive. I really enjoy the patties they have at Wendy's. So I like a Dave single. no tomatoes, no onion, extra pickles.
The Dave single's really good.
Fucking smother my burger in pickles.
We should have some more wine because I like the way you're talking.
Excuse me. I actually don't. It's like that's how we had the last baby, Derek. I actually have a topic.
Yeah,
which is rare because I don't normally come up with the stuff. It's normally all on Derek. So all of my friends back in England right now are at Glastonbury Festival.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they've all just kind of entered the festival and set up their tents and stuff.
Okay, can you tell everyone, first off, Glastonbury Festival is Coachella of England, but it's huge. It's bigger. It's just insane. Way bigger. But Neve lives in Street, which is 15-minute walk from Glastonbury.
Yeah.
And Glastonbury is like an abbey where King Arthur was buried, and it's a magical, amazing place. So sorry, tell us.
But fun fact, the festival, Glastonbury Festival isn't in Glastonbury at all.
What?
It's in Pilton, which is like a further along village on this huge dairy farm owned by Michael Eavis. Fun fact, I went to school with Michael Eavis's son, Ollie Eavis. He was in my... Eavis? Michael Eavis is the guy who made Glastonbury Festival.
Oh, okay.
It's like the founder.
Is that, but that's his thing? He's not like some other dude that also did this?
No, it's all on his farmland.
What?
So it's a dairy farm year round, and then they have Glastonbury, and then every 4 years they break to let the ground recuperate.
Cool.
But I went to school with it wasn't his son, it was his nephew, great nephew, Ollie Eavis. But yeah, it's in Pilton, and all the locals know it as Pilton. They don't know it as Glastonbury Festival. If you're like, oh, I'm going to Pilton. A ton of people I know work it because they're locals. Right. So they all go in and are security and run food stands and are stewards and stuff like that.
Do you know who is playing at Glastonbury this year?
I do. Dua Lipa's headlining, Coldplay's headlining, Shania Twain is headlining, SZA.
Yeah, SZA is only a lesbian sex position.
Not that kind of SZA.
There's a band? I'm sorry, I'm just looking up the lineup.
She's an artist, yeah.
Oh, SZA.
Yeah, SZA.
This is gay. I thought her name was SZA. I knew who this was.
SZA.
Jeez, damn.
Yeah. You're out of touch, babe. You're an old man now.
Wait. This is... Okay, this is a Fleetwood Mac's there. Paul McCartney.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
For 2024 lineup?
That's what it says right here.
Oh, damn. Okay, well, that's a really good lineup then.
I don't know who 17 is.
No. Anyway, Glastonbury always has an incredible lineup, and what's so cool about it is there are so many different stages that whatever genre of music you're into, they will be there.
Really? Like even rap?
100%. Yeah.
Country?
Yeah.
Not country.
Yeah, they probably have like so many different stages, and it's huge. They have these huge clubs there. They have kids. It's very family oriented as well. They have the kids field. They have
in the kids field. They're like, we have drugs, but they're not as good.
No. The kids field. They have like circus performers and like
that makes more sense.
Like big, huge bouncy castles and it's really incredible. I actually love. When the first year I went, we spent a lot of time in the comedy tents.
Oh, cool.
So they have comedy shows. They screened, the first year I went was when Toy Story 3 came out, and they screened Toy Story 3 at the festival.
That's sweet.
Like, it's so fucking, it's huge, and it's just the most amazing experience.
How big is the farm? I mean, like,
I don't even
know. Woodstock?
Yeah.
Like, I know we obviously don't know like literal dimensions, but was it like a bigger farmland than Woodstock?
It's huge.
'Cause,
like I would have to look it up how big it is, but it's huge. You camp on site, and I don't know what the rules are now, but the last time I went, you can take alcohol in as long as it's enough like as much as you can carry. And for us as locals, what we would do is we'd go in on the first day with all the alcohol we could carry, and you used to be able to take wheelbarrows, but you can't take wheelbarrows anymore. So it's all the alcohol you can carry, and then if you are local, you can go out and buy alcohol and bring all the alcohol you can carry back in.
Okay, so Glastonbury is the world's biggest music fest. 200,000+ campers, which is weird because I feel like there's way bigger festivals.
Well, I think it's biggest because you can camp on site.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. That's what it actually just says here. And then, how big is Glastonbury Festival in kilometers?
But I've been
900 acres. What's 900 acres?
It's huge. You think of Winnie the Pooh. He lived in a 100-acre forest. This is 900 acres. It's a big place.
900 acres is 3.6 kilometers squared.
Okay, that's too much math for me.
Yeah, sorry. But
that's
a lot. That's
it's insanely. It's huge. Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah, makes sense.
And it is the best experience. I've been 3 times, and it is just insanely good. It's so good.
When was the last time you went?
2016.
Okay.
I think it's the summer before I went to university.
And
so 2016. I saw Coldplay.
Nice.
I saw Adele.
Oh, damn. Pre her being mega Adele. She was Adele, but she wasn't.
I mean, Adele's always been mega in England.
Oh, okay. Because she must be so sweet to hear sing.
Yeah, she was insane. Who else did I see? I saw the 1975. I saw one of my all-time favorites who's actually coming to Vancouver, who's probably a bit obscure and not a lot of people have heard of. It's Kate Nash. No. Years and Years. I've seen Skepta, I've seen Stormzy, I've seen the Scissor Sisters, which is actually a lesbian thing.
This is the problem. I'd be interested to see how many people are listening to this going, oh, no way, because you know me, I don't know music so well.
I've seen Tiny Temper.
Oh, okay, I know Tiny Temper. Yeah.
We bring the stars out.
Tiny Temper. I'm trying. What is his original song? His original song that I listened to was such a good.
Pass that.
I don't.
Okay.
I can't.
No,
I
that's just quoting, but whatever. I've seen. Who else have I seen there?
Oh,
I don't know.
This
I've
is
seen
just
a ton
there.
Of people.
I thought at a point you just started riffing on people you'd seen. I didn't realize that was just all
Glastonbury
there.
has the most amazing lineups.
So
Stevie Wonder I've seen there.
That's sweet.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder.
So what is the chance of someone okay, obviously if you play Glastonbury, for most people, unless you're a mega celebrity, that's the pinnacle of your career, I'd assume. Is there bands that you'd get there that you would know, or is it only mega bands that make it to Glastonbury? Obviously you have to be really good, but there's ones that are more local, but big local.
Cool. So basically because I'm local, because I'm in Somerset and I'm in Street especially, which is so close to Glastonbury, there are local incentives. For example, I had this one friend when I was in college, and she was in a band, and the band was called the Thatchers, which is related to Thatcher's cider, which is brewed in Somerset, and it's the best cider ever.
I was going to say Margaret Thatcher, but okay.
No, we don't talk about her. But basically there was a contest for local talent. They won it, and then they got to play at Godney Gathering. And Godney Gathering is a precursor. So we have Godney Gathering, which is a precursor to Glastonbury. Then we have Glastonbury, and then you have I think Party in the Park it's called, at Pilton, which is post Glastonbury. They keep one of the stages up, and then they have just a random concert a couple months after.
Okay.
Which is always a really, really good time.
Yeah, that would be. I can imagine.
Yeah,
that would be
it's all local people.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of like the Glastonbury for the people that aren't or once the Glastonbury, it's the locals enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Exactly, and the fun thing is being where I live, I get local tickets.
Right.
So people come from all over the world to go to Glastonbury Festival. And if you go to the general sales, it's so hard to get a ticket. But because we're local, we get local sales like 3 months later. And you're pretty much guaranteed a ticket because you're local.
That's so cool. Yeah, we really have to do that one year.
100% we're going to do that.
Yeah, another one, actually, one of my clients today I was just asking them, like, what they're up to for the summer, and because I think they come in every few months, and they were just saying that they were going to the Stampede, and that's one I definitely want to go check out.
Oh, I 100% want to go to the Stampede.
Yeah, the nice thing is that when you're dating and you go to the Stampede, you don't get STDs.
Right.
Because it's like the STD, or one of the biggest STD fests of like North America.
Is it actually?
Yeah. I don't want to quote me on this one, but I'm pretty sure there was a huge rape culture in it too.
I mean, that doesn't
I don't want
me.
to say rape culture because that makes it seem like the people there, but I feel like people got raped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about that, so I shouldn't probably say. But I mean, who's listening? So who cares? But like, yeah, I feel like there is that, but it's kind of like everything. I do think the STD capital of North America for a small period was Whistler.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds surprising. Did you know I went to university? Like, the university that I went to has like one of the biggest rape cultures in England. Southampton.
Yeah,
so, rape park.
Yeah, no, we walked through it and I was like, what the
Yeah, we did,
fuck?
didn't we?
Yeah.
I took Derek on a tour of my home country, and I showed him Southampton, where I went to... Sorry, that was our dog. I took him to Southampton, where I went to university, and there's this huge park that runs all the way through Southampton, and it was known as Rape Park because every other morning when I'd walk to university through this park, there would be like crime scene tape in it from some drunk chick that had got raped, because it was a massive student town.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was cray-cray.
I just have so many feelings about that. Like, for specifically the idea of if the park's called a rape park because you are guaranteed that rape's gonna happen there. A, why would you ever walk through there? B, why would you not have like legitimately security,
like patrols
that, like, not even patrols, you have like light posts, and it's like every third light post is another cop looking, so you like something like that, because it's not a thing of like, oh, it's a wasted resource, because you're like, well, no,
because this is actually
happening every day. Like, how it seems impossible to me.
Yeah.
Especially when you see it, because when I pictured it, when you told me about it before.
Yeah.
When I pictured it being a huge forest like Stanley Park.
No, it's open.
It's
completely
literally
open.
Like going to Victoria Park, but if it's just flat and straight, and there's some foliage and stuff, but by no means is it this huge expansive place where you can't if you just have like a police presence there, it won't happen there.
Yeah.
It won't. Like,
I know, but the thing is, because it's a student town, it's like every single day you're gonna have to have that, because every single day there was like some sort of student event going on, and I'm not gonna, like, I walked through that park by myself when I was wasted, like, a good few times, because that was the way to get home, you know. And like when you're drunk, your whole like perception is off, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna be fine. And I was lucky, obviously, but also this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is the drinking culture in England. Like, why are you that wasted when you're walking through a park alone at night? You know what I mean? Like, one of the bars that we'd go to, it was called So Bar, ironically. And the Tuesday night deal was you would go in and you would get a quad vod. So quad vod is quadruple vodka. So 4 shots of vodka and any mixer in a pint glass for £2. So
that's just literally trying to kill people.
Yeah, honestly. And all of I lived with guys. It was me, my friend Harriet, and then we lived with 4 other guys.
Is there any of your friends named Tingy?
No.
Oh, dang.
But we would go to Sobar, and you knew whenever we went to Sobar, they were gonna fight. It was just like a thing. It was so, the culture there was like, yeah, we're gonna get wasted. The girls are gonna go walk home through the rape park, and the guys are gonna stay and have a bust up. Like, that's just how it was. Which is so bizarre, because like now I live here and people are so like cordial.
Yeah, like people here are goons, but not like that. Like that's one thing. Okay, so Connor's cousin Fakra. Shout out to Faker.
I love Faker. Yeah, he's awesome.
Great dude. Like, I love Faker. Always have.
He fixed our plumbing too.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, that's true. Him and Declan. But like P Murray. Actually, yeah, no, I'm gonna plug P Murray. P Murray Contractors. If you need any drainage or plumbing done, highly recommend Connor. He's like family, but he's also a great plumber. And
P Murray.
But yeah, Fakra always used to get in fights. This is when he was younger, to be fair. He started working out and got into martial arts, so he actually had like an outlet, so he doesn't fight as... I'd assume he might get in fights still sometimes, but it's definitely not what it was. But like, I just remember all the time there'd just be... Faker would be in fights every weekend, and then the next day I'd hear him talk about these stories, and he'd be like, this motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I just don't get it, because I never get in fights. I've been in fights before. Literally, they were all in Kitimat because people didn't like me. But like, I'm not like a fighter, and I was highly provoked and like almost literally come after in Kitimat. Yeah. So I was like sitting there, and I'm like, I just don't get how you're getting fights in North Van all the time.
In England, fights are so normal.
I know, it's so weird.
So when I went back, bear in mind I'm a mother now, and I don't get involved in that stuff. But when I was in England, I don't know if I told you about this. Did I not tell? Okay.
People got in fights?
I got in a fight.
What? How did you not tell me this?
I thought I told you about it.
No.
So when I went back to England, we went out on a night in Bridgewater. And for people who aren't from England...
Turn on your English accent as you do it.
Okay. So for people who aren't from England, Bridgewater especially is considered like a, air quotes, dodgy place. Dodgy. It's like dodgy in terms of Somerset. You know, Somerset's a very like country place, but Bridgewater's like a bit sketchy. So we go to Bridgewater to see one of my friends. A couple of my friends are in a band. They're a really great band. They're really good, and I wanted to go out and like see them and support them because I haven't seen them. The Jukeboxers.
Shout out the Jukeboxers. Boop, boop, boop.
But they're really, really good. And we went to go see them live. And I was with all of my friends. And there was one girl there that was just being really fucking annoying. She was being really annoying. She was like pushing and shoving. She like bumped into us so many times, and she pushed us down on the stage.
Sean Connery.
And then I don't know who threw the first punch, but punches started happening.
You threw punches?
I don't know who threw the first punch.
How did you not tell me you got in a fight where you threw punches?
I thought I told you.
No.
Oh, okay. I don't think I threw any punches.
What did Juliet do?
Oh, no, she wasn't there, obviously. She was at home with my parents. She was with her grandparents. Obviously, I wouldn't set that precedent in front of our daughter.
I'm just picturing Juliet's like...
No, this is like on a night out I was on, and everybody was drunky poos. And then I think it was my best friend is also called Neve, so this could get a bit confusing. But I think Neve was getting aggy at it. She was like not happy about this girl, like kept barging into us. And then punches were thrown. Lewis, actually, my gay friend Lewis, shout out to gay Lewis.
Gay Lewis, wait, is gay Lewis black or gay?
No, gay.
Oh, okay. I always get confused between Black Lewis and Gay Lewis. Who's gay, who's black? I don't know.
Gay Lewis Actually, this is the most masculine I've ever seen him. He, like, rugby tackled Neve's boyfriend, Kieran, because if Kieran throws a punch, he loses his job, right? Because he's in the military.
Wait, what? You can't dukes it if you're in the military?
No, you can get a record for that shit.
Weapons.
So Neve starts a fight with this girl. Kieran squares up to her man, trying to get involved. Lewis rugby tackles him. There are punches being thrown, blah, blah, blah. But 5 minutes later, this girl, who was pissing us off, comes and buys us around and is like, yo, that was stupid. And that's what we do, though. But that's what we do. We were on a fight in the dance floor in front of the band. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, okay, let's all get drinks for each other. It's just, I don't know, it's a culture thing. I can't explain it to you because you're not English.
I'm not disappointed. I'm not even mad or anything like that. It's just like,
if you came on a night out with me in England, like, you'd understand. Like,
no, I
for
did.
example,
No, I know. Even when we were in England, we go to this stupid bar.
Are you talking about when that guy?
Yeah. Is that what you're gonna talk about?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was
we go to. Okay,
about.
First off, I loved it. It was my birthday.
The confrontation is just
so stupid. We're at a bar that's like the
Hobbit.
Hobbiton. Yeah, it's
the
the Hobbit,
and
it's like it's literally just a emo grunge bar, but it's also all themed like
it's the Hobbit.
The
themed.
Hobbit,
yeah.
right? So it's like, I don't know. I'd say it's like the Canby, but if the Canby was Hobbit themed and like not like as shitty, but
like
it
all
looked
the drinks are like D&D.
But like the way it looked, like in terms of like it was like wood with like some picnic tables and stuff.
Yeah.
But it wasn't shitty like the Canby. But it was like it had that like vibe to it. And literally we're sitting there drinking they're like the drinks are all D&D, so I'm trying to think of one of the drinks. It'd be like the priestess, and then they'd be like, it's orange soda and triple shot of vodka.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense, even though that makes no sense as to why that'd be the priestess. But you're like, yeah, sure. And you get it. And so I had a few of those, and we're just sitting there. And the one thing I'll say that my disappointment with England was my stomach's so bad, it actually makes me hard to enjoy. Like I can't drink.
I think that's just traveling.
I do too.
Your
Yeah,
stomach,
yeah. Like it, but it actually sucks. Like I can't go out and eat. And then the thing is, we were there 3 weeks, and like
the food was so good. And you missed out a lot.
But you can genuinely say, like, over the course of 3 weeks, I like ate like bare minimums of food. So like I can't like party as hard and drink as much because like I just am so off. And me and Neve are just sitting there on my birthday, and this dude comes up and he gets like friendly with me, and he's like, oh hey, blah blah blah, and then really quickly just starts hitting on Neve, and I was just like I was like, wait, what the fuck? And I actually couldn't figure it out because I'm like sitting there. He's like, he was some like skinny jean like leather jacket nerd dude. Like
he wasn't like a no particularly
threat. Yeah, and I'm like looking at him, and I can't figure it out because I've just genuinely never like I want to say he sat down, said hi to me, and then was like leans over and goes like to Neve like, oh, so what are you doing tonight? How are you doing here? What are you doing? And all this stuff.
Yeah, like it wasn't like a subtle like hit on. It was like
and I was like literally in shock because I'm like, wait, what's this? Because it wasn't like, hey, fair game to him. If I'm like sitting there, you're sitting there, it's kind of like it looks like we might be talking, but you and me were like so clearly there, like you were like basically sitting, I don't want to say like on my lap, but we were like close to each other. It's not like we were just like two strangers across the table. Yeah. And this dude's just like literally like, I don't even remember like what ended up happening. I can't even remember.
I can't remember what he said to me or whatever, but he was like, we were sat on benches opposite each other, like chatting and like whatever, and then he just came and like sat next to me, got super close to me, and was like blah, 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 like trying to hit me up, and I was like, yeah, this is my boyfriend, like I bought him here from Canada. Yeah. He was like, oh, you guys are together. But that's such a play because in England, and this is just through like previous experiences of dating English guys. Like I've dated English guys are very aggressive, and if someone sits down next to your girl, you're like, back the fuck up.
Really?
Yeah. And that's not any like saying it's better or worse. That's just how English guys are. They're like, don't move on my girl. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very like, they know that's what's gonna happen. Whereas here, if a guy came and like started talking to us, it's so innocent.
I just feel like I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to phrase this the wrong way because I love English everything, but like I feel like that's just like some weird like underlying culture of the bar scene is like the reason, as much as the person, and I'm not saying just the dude, it's not just like, or I'm not saying it's the chick, I'm just saying this is like a thing in general, like the reason that someone does that is because there might, like, the chance would be entertained.
Honestly, it's a thing that I've thought about. If you and I were living in England, I would be more worried about girls coming on to you.
So this is what this I guess is to the point of that is, I feel like, for example, if I had to worry about you cheating on me, I wouldn't be with you.
Yeah.
Because that's retarded.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Like the idea of Neve, call me every 2 hours while you're out with your girls at the bar and stuff, because I need to know. Because why would you be with someone that you have to worry about them wanting to be with you?
100%.
Right? So that's kind of like when this whole thing like happened, I was just like kind of sitting there like, what's this dude doing? Like he has no chance.
Yeah.
And, like there was no like worry in my mind of that, right? Yeah. But for him to think he can do that obviously means it works to some degree.
I will say this, in England, it's a very different ballgame.
100%. I can tell.
Because people are very much like...
shagging everyone.
I mean...
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. No, and
I honestly, if you and I were to move to England, not that I ever think you would ever cheat on me. I don't believe that for a second, and I'm very confident in our relationship. But I know if we were to be in England, so many women would hit on you. Yeah. Because especially in England, women are very much like willing to take the lead, and not just take the lead and like, oh, I want to be with you, as in like, I want to take you home tonight and fuck you. Yeah, well,
that's the thing is Vancouver at least is a very reserved sexual culture. Yeah. Very reserved. I'm from here, but I don't think I'm a very reserved person sexually. So but it is like there's just so many people here like you can't, either you get it, you're shaking your head like yeah it is, or you're going, what are they talking about? And if you're saying what are you talking about, trust me, it's reserved, like because it's so different in other places, like sex is so much more open everywhere else. Sex is so much more like there is taboo things within sex, but it's not taboo, whereas here like sex is kind of, everyone's like yeah sex is good, but that's it. Like, I no one missionary with my wife. Or like you're like, yeah, I went into the dildo shop once, and you're like, oh yeah, like okay, sure. Like I don't know, you and me, know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I think we get it, and that's also why we connected, because we're on the same page with that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I would agree with you. When I first came to Canada, after I broke up with my ex and I was single, I would get a lot of attention, but the reason I would get a lot of attention isn't because like I'm a fucking 10 and I'm mega hot. It's because I had the confidence to approach people, and that's a rarity here. That's not something that people are used to. If I found someone attractive, I'd be like hey, what's up?
Well, that was me. I mean? You literally
yeah, exactly.
I feel like we've told that story, to be honest, on here.
I don't know if I've told it.
Do you want some more?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I want some more.
All right, we're done.
We're talking about the wine.
2 bottles.
But I would be like, if I found someone attractive, I was single and I was like doing my thing in a new city, I'd be like, hey, like what's up? Like, can I get your number? Like, let's hook up, or like let's meet up and let's see how it goes. Whatever. Not that I was like a massive whore, but I was just like, exploring stuff. I was by myself in a new city. So, don't give me that look.
No comment. No comment. The mother of my child. No comment.
No, but what I'm saying is like I was very willing to approach other people. Like, it wasn't wasn't a factor for me to like be shy or like wait for someone to approach me. Like, no, if I like find someone attractive, I'm not gonna just like sit there at the other end of the bar and be like, I hope he talks to me.
Well,
like,
one thing I always thought was so funny, like, let's go into the, I think one time we should do the June Chronicles, and we should just chronicle like you and Jax.
I don't want to.
Okay,
I want to put that out in the public.
No, like, so like one thing I always thought was super funny was like when me and Neve just like first started. This is even pre-hookup. Like we just started. Actually, no. I guess like it was really once we started hooking up. But like, there's this chick, June, and people may know her, they may not, but she was crazy. And for like, and when I say that, I actually do say that in like the way of like she had mental illness, but on top of that, she was also just like nuts. Like, so anyhow, when we first met, June worked at the same place, and there was this thing where June, like, objectively, if you see her from a distance, you're always going to turn your head. She's like skinny, big boobs, like she's a good looking girl.
She's hot.
She's really hot.
Yeah.
She is, like, no doubt. But like, she consistently is someone that as soon as everyone meets her, they're all like, yeah, she's really hot, for sure. She's really hot. Like, that's it. They're not like, they don't like her. They don't. And I don't want to like be here shitting on June, because like that's just not what this is about. It's more about so like June was there at the bar, and we'd show up at Jack's, and I'd be there, and we'd be like me and the boys drinking whatever, right? And there'd be a group of dudes that were like, we knew them, but they were like more people that hung out at Jack's. They were like that crew. And they'd all be with June at her table. It was like Tiny, Chris. I'm trying to think. Fritz, Damien. Like, there's a crew of them, right? And they'd all be hanging out there. And then Neve would show up, and she'd come hang out with us. And as soon as you'd show up, everyone, not just the guys, all the girls too, like the Jack's girls and stuff, would all like come over to you and leave June. And they'd start talking about sex, because I think it was part of that was like they all want.
I think I was very open about sex, and they liked that because not a lot of girls.
Yeah, so they always so there was a thing of like they all like wanted to talk to you about that, but it was more like to the point of it. It was more a testament to like how much people liked you versus June, where it's like this really hot girl, and of course you're smoking hot too. Like,
of course, I'm just a
no, but like yeah, it's not like you walked in and then I was like, oh, here comes Neve, and like 2 blocks later you walked in like, whoa.
I'm like the Michelin Man from Ghostbusters. Like,
how did you know she was here? I could feel it in the ground. It was shaking. but like you would like draw people to you, and it was just.
I think my personality is more drawing than like, it's like if you meet like a dull 10, then it's whatever, but if you meet like a 7 that's got some real good chat, then it's go time.
Funny you rate it that way. I have one of my favorite YouTube channels about it, like
you're gonna be like, oh, you're more than a 7, babe. That's what you were gonna say, right?
Something like that. I was gonna say this.
Wow.
I was gonna say, no, funny enough, this YouTube channel, it's one of my favorite ones. They rank games and stuff.
Yeah.
They had one on how 7 out of 10 games are the best games.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like saying things that are like, first off, it's a really good game, period. It's a 7 out of 10. Like, you're never getting 7 and it's bad. But then the things that, like, the imperfections of it is what makes it beautiful, as opposed to a 10 out of a 10 game can look really good and have all these things, but the underlying of it all is it's not really good, but it looks really good. And then as you were saying all that, I was like, damn, gamer ranks.
You're like, oh, I'm glad I got a 6-7.
Because a 4 to 7...
Are you calling me a 4?
Joking.
Wow. No BJ's tonight.
A 7 is a 10, and a 10 is really a 3 with really good makeup. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Dig yourself out of that hole.
Okay, let's move on to the next topic.
What Derek meant to say is, you, the mother of my child, are a 10 out of 10 always in my eyes.
Okay.
Is what Derek meant to say.
I meant to say that. I'm sorry, I stuttered. So here's
I don't know which one I should go with here. Okay, you know what? We'll go with...
Okay, give me options. I'll decide.
Okay, do you want to hear about health or world things?
That's really good.
I know.
I'll go for health.
Okay, health. This is a belief I have / there's science behind it, but I think the science. I think the science is gonna catch up to the belief. Okay, so there's a lot of people. This isn't a new thought. Type 3 diabetes. Would you have any? Do you know what type 1, type 2, and?
Yeah, my mom has diabetes.
Right. So do you know what diabetes is?
I know what diabetes is.
Okay. For the viewers that don't know what diabetes is high blood sugar, and the reason you have high blood sugar...
I've had diabetes.
I'm not talking... I'm just telling people what diabetes is. So high blood sugar, and you have elevated blood sugar levels, and your insulin... You cannot produce insulin excuse me. You cannot produce insulin to lower your blood sugar, because insulin decreases blood sugar levels. So type 1 diabetes is you were born with it. Your pituitary does not... I mean, let me just check up on that. I believe it is the pituitary. What produces insulin? What produces insulin? Pancreas, pardon. So your pancreas produces insulin, okay? And what happens with type 1 is your pancreas is not able to produce insulin to balance your blood sugar levels. So that's why those people from birth, they're the ones that in the past would have had to take the little, like, stab their finger to get the blood prick, and then it tells them, like, what their sugar levels are at, and then they have to take an insulin shot. As time's gone on, what they've done is you now see them, they'll have on one of their arms or their shoulder a little circle, and that circle's a scanner that takes it, and what you'll do is you'll hold your phone up with an app, and it goes against the scan, like the little the blood sugar detector on your arm, and it just does the same thing as that pinprick, but it's like an actual thing that's inside your skin. So it's just modern technology. It's cool. But so type 1 diabetes you're born with, and you have to inject yourself with insulin because you cannot produce enough or any insulin. Type 2 diabetes is you've exhausted your insulin. So your pancreas has been overworked for so long that you now underproduce or cannot produce any more insulin to lower your blood sugar levels. The reason, so with respect, people that will have type 2 diabetes, vast majority of the time will be very overweight, and it won't be instantaneous. They'll have been overweight for a while. Mm-hmm. They probably eat a ton of sugar. Thankfully for me, I still think I'm at high risk for type 2, because just for people, I eat a shitload of sugar, but I work out a ton. So I think that's my only saving grace. But that being said, I still don't think it's going to save me, to be totally honest. Okay, so now on to type 3 diabetes. Mm-hmm. Type 3 diabetes would also be referred to as Alzheimer's.
What?
Yeah. So...
You think... What that's like a new scientific thing that's been...
So there is 2 doctors as of right now that have put this forward to be true, okay? And this isn't just 2 wacko doctors. This is they're actually like looking into what they're saying as of right now, so it's being peer reviewed.
Yeah.
But basically, your neurological system is your brain, it is all your nerves, okay? The number one thing that decays and wears down all of that is glucose, which is sugar. Mm-hmm. Okay? So it makes perfect sense in my mind why, if you are in a high glucose, so a high sugar diet, and you're taking in that all the time, why that would affect your brain and cause this exhaustion. So it's insulin exhaustion, but instead of it being to your pancreas, it's to your brain. So it's not insulin that you're exhausting, it's something in your brain. And I don't know enough of the science to say what it is.
Yeah.
But it makes a lot of sense to me that. Mm-hmm. And so I think in the next couple of years that we're going to find out about type 3 diabetes. I don't think that what's it called? That this is
this dementia is something that is like something you gain at 60. I think it's something like I'm gonna start
early onset.
Like, I think early onset is actually just normal. It's not early onset. So I think me right now, 34, I'm actually serious about this. I think the end of the summer I'm gonna go on a diet and or a cleanse, and I'm gonna try and really lower my glucose levels. Because
I mean, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
100%, because I think sugar is something that is super bad for you. And you do have a lot of sugar.
I do. I'm not gonna deny any of that. I do.
And I experienced I got gestational diabetes when I was pregnant, and I was lucky enough that I could monitor it with diet. It wasn't that much of a big deal, but at the same time, now it's made me very cautious of how much sugar I put into my body, how much glucose I put into my body. And
so just so people know, gestational diabetes is diabetes that, like, all I explained about insulin and all that, but it's all just induced via pregnancy.
Yeah. So, and I have risk of diabetes in my family. My mom has diabetes. SpaghettiOs.
We got a baby. One sec, we'll be right back. All right, folks. Sorry about that, but we are going to have to wrap up for this evening. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you are still listening, thank you so much. I'm gonna keep repping this pod for a while. I know Neve and I love doing it. I know Dax and I love doing it, and it's just a fun time. I'm genuinely, there's a huge thing I've noticed is people are either like, oh, cool, whatever, and they're whatever, and there's some that, like, I think they think that we're trying to get famous or whatever, and it's really weird. This is just for enjoyment, and the biggest thing is I just like talking to people, and that's the thing I've had the best time doing with this, is just like genuinely sitting down, turn off your phones, you just sit across and just shoot the shit, talk with people. So if you want to come on, please message me or just somehow get hold, because it's just really enjoyable, and it's nice to talk with people, and I'm sure you, if you're listening to this, you're probably my friends, so you'd love to be on it. Anyhow, I hope you guys have an awesome Friday. Happy Canada Day. We are dropping a Monday Canada Day pod, giving some love to our beautiful country. And anyhow, yeah, take care until next time. I don't know. I got no cool lines for today. Just take care, everybody. Have a good Canada Day weekend.